Well, we're just getting into what Spurs could do this season before we went to hear from Jose Mourinho. But when you put it in the context that they won 4 away games throughout all of last season, that's 3 out of 3 to start this. And you asked the question to Harry Kane. I wonder if it was because you were warming to the idea that maybe Spurs might be title challengers after all.
No, just the talk of it and thinking whether it had got into the players' heads. And then within his first answer, he said, we can achieve something special. Well, he's not talking about the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, is he? He's talking about, obviously, the big European trophies or the league, and that's what made me ask the second question. I didn't know whether you would pick up on it.
I was ready to go. But as always, you got in before me. What do you think?
I don't think they can win the league. I really don't. But I think because Jose Mourinho's there, there'll be an element of him thinking he can do the unthinkable. And they have got some unbelievable attacking players, and it is a strange season. But I don't think they can win the league just purely because they haven't done before. That game tonight could have swung either way. You know, Burnley could have scored that from that corner in another week, and we'd have been in a situation here. We've been talking about a defeat. But I think that if it's finished third, would be unbelievable. To get ahead of, you know, Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea. For Tottenham, I never thought they would be in that position. So for me, I didn't have Tottenham in my top 4. I don't think you did at the start of the season. We're now including them within our top 4. So that's a massive shift of where we've been at only a few weeks ago.
Speaking for you, are they in your top 4?
No, they weren't.
No, they weren't in my top 4 at the start of the season because you looked at them towards the end of last season, and I think when Jose came in, we talked about the job Jose did. You did it at the start, and I think from when he came in, we've got to remember, even though there's no bigger fans than me and him of Mauricio Pochettino, there isn't. But there's no doubt that team had it was done, really, and it had to sort of move on and evolve and change, if you like. Maybe the style of play, players have now come in. But when Jose came in, you're talking about only winning 4 last season. I think they'd gone 12 months or something without an away win or something. It was a crazy statistic. He went to West Ham on the first game, he got that win. And it was a bit stop-start last season, but I think his results from when he came in till the end of the season, I think they were the 4th or 5th best where he thinks they'll be. I don't think for 1 minute anyone involved with Tottenham, from Daniel Levy to Jose Mourinho to those players, thought 1 minute about trying to challenge for a title this season. It will have all been about getting in the top 4. But because this season has been so strange, the situation with Liverpool, with Van Dijk, Man City just don't look right. And you're sort of waiting for it to click and you think, oh, it'll start again. And listen, I'm sure it will at some stage, but already dropped 7 or 8 points already.
Missing for another couple of weeks. We hear today.
So if there's ever going to be a chance when someone does do something, this will be the season. And I've got to say something here as well. Listen, I want Liverpool to win the league, obviously.
No.
But if you said to me, I'd love to see Mourinho win again. Because even though we talk on here about tactics and systems and different things, we love it, we get ingrained in it. Mourinho's had so much thrown at him that he's yesterday's man, his football's from a different era, all these type of things, and these new modern, fresh managers and whatever. I'd love to see Mourinho win again in terms of actually stick 2 fingers up to me and him, or different people, or the press, or the papers, whoever's out there in some ways. And I think it would be sort of a good story in some ways for Mourinho to do that again, really, because I think for what he's achieved in his career, I think he gets a lot of criticism because he does rub people up the wrong way at different times with his press conferences or how he goes about certain things. But I just think it'd be nice in some way to sort of see him win, and maybe win in a different way. I'm not for all this, you have to play a certain way, or only this certain way can win. I'd love to see Mourinho win if Jurgen didn't.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by him at Tottenham. Still, I called it an unlikely marriage when he first went there, him and Daniel Levy, and I'm still sort of sat here thinking, how's that going to play out in the long run? Never thought for 1 second Daniel Levy would ever appoint Jose Mourinho as a manager.
Daniel Levy loves him. Have you seen the documentary? He's starstruck. He can't stop looking at him.
No, but you just...
the way you look at me.
I've never watched Daniel Levy. I've never met Daniel Levy. I've never spoken to him. I've never watched the documentary. But I just never thought for 1 second, just everything you understand about Daniel Levy, about control, about making sure that you're strict on your spending, just the idea of appointing Jose Mourinho is, to me, just bizarre. And now I see it there, and I'm fascinated to see how it's going to play out. There is an element of what Carragher has just said that I agree with, that the idea of Jose Mourinho winning the league with Tottenham is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable story. I don't think it will happen, But I still think the fact that he's there gives them a belief that maybe they wouldn't have had before, because he does. Only thing he thinks about is winning, and he will win. He'll do anything to win, Jose Mourinho, anything. And that's the mentality that those Tottenham players need. They've really struggled with a mentality over 30, 40, 50 years to have a ruthless, clinical, horrible mentality, and that's what he does bring with him.